Richard Sollum with Physicians for Human Rights just returned from Bahrain.
It is unlike anything that I have seen in my 20 years of investigating human rights and violations of medical neutrality. The types of abuses that are occurring are actually quite surreal. They're so horrific and so widespread and systematic.
Sollum says Bahraini security forces have arrested more than 30 doctors and medics, accusing them of harboring protesters.
It is my firm belief that the Bahraini government and its security forces are targeting physicians and nurses and other people who have eyewitness testimony to their atrocities, specifically because they're the credible people who have specific evidence of the atrocities of the Bahraini government.
PHR says Bahraini security forces have also created a climate of fear so that patients, especially those involved in protests, have avoided getting urgent medical treatment.
Patients are being tortured in these medical facilities.
When we were in Bahrain about 3 weeks ago, we met protesters shot by security forces who said they were too scared to seek medical attention.
This is Birdshot. He says that the police have been using this to shoot them. So he got out of the hospital bed and ran away.
Yeah, because he was afraid.
He said he took a razor blade on his own and cut the bullets out of his leg because he was too scared to go to the hospital. Because he says that the riot police came in and beat him while he was in his hospital bed. So he fled. And he still has the bullet in his eye. He can't see?
He can't see.
Security forces took over the main hospital, Sollum, last month. PHR documented cases where police dragged patients out of their hospital beds late at night and tortured them.
They were forced to confess to things that they did not do. For example, that Iran was behind the demonstrations, that Iran and other countries were handing out weapons.
The Bahraini government has blamed Iran for backing the protesters. Officials also told CNN that security forces are at Sollum Hospital to protect it from unruly protesters, and that it's now functioning normally.
Well, I understand that that's what the government is saying, but the reality is quite different. When we arrived, we were met by men wearing armed assault rifles. There is a heavy tank right in front of the emergency room.
Sollum says that when he and his team tried to enter the hospital, they were detained by security forces and then kicked out. PHR says the Bahraini government is violating numerous international laws and wants the U.S. and UN to push for an immediate investigation. Amber Lyon, CNN, Atlanta.